Hi there, this is Nancy from Cedar Hills. I'm a parent of 3 BSD graduates, and I volunteer in our community and schools. Thanks for joining me for a few minutes to learn about what we can do to ensure BSD students get a well-rounded education. Middle school is important in the student's development. It's a time of exploration when they begin taking more responsibility for their educational path by choosing electives to go along with mandated subjects. The experiences students have in their electives are fun, exciting, and hands-on. They're often a highlight of the day, giving kids a deep connection to school and each other and developing important life skills like teamwork, collaboration, and interpersonal communication. Electives are part of a well-rounded education. Unfortunately, not all of our middle schoolers are getting an excellent elective experience. Their education is being hampered by site-based decisions and curriculum narrowing. There was a time when middle schools were guaranteed PE in their choice of electives, and there was flexibility in the schedule to provide supports for special education students, English language learners, and students coming from tougher economic backgrounds without excluding them from electives. The pie chart shows the portion of the school day dedicated to electives and PE as a percentage of the school day. The green section, it's been shrinking to make more time for the tested subjects like math, science, and humanities. Because of this, there are fewer periods in the day at many schools, meaning less flexibility for student choice of electives and access to physical education. Some students receiving supports are receiving little to no elective or PE opportunities. The system is not equitable. Here's a sample schedule from Highland Park last year. Students spent about a third of their day in PE and electives. The rest of the time was spent taking mandatory subjects like math, science, language arts, and writing. Supports for SPED, ELL, intervention, and AVID took place along with mandatory subjects. And here's a sample schedule for Meadow Park last year. Students spent about a quarter of the day in PE and electives. Special education and ELL students received their supports during an elective period, meaning they only had an elective every other day. AVID students had to miss either PE or their elective. The majority of middle schools in BSD operate this way, where kids are sitting in long 70 to 90-minute daily math, science, and humanities classes and missing out on a well-rounded education. In addition, middle school schedules and course offerings vary. They all require math, science, and humanities, but we find various combinations of foreign language, art, band, choir, technology, and drama. Some students access those classes daily, while others access them every other day, and the course frequency even varies within the building. For example, band might meet daily, or choir meets every other day. The chart on this slide summarizes programming at our 8 middle schools. This chart was created in 2016-17. A few things have shifted since then, but the overall disparities haven't changed. 8 different schools are doing things 8 different ways, and what students get out of middle school varies based on where they live. It's a problem, but it doesn't have to be that way. Students need the adults in their lives to fix it by providing equitable access. Parents and community members are often surprised to learn how much middle school scheduling and curriculum varies school to school. That's partly because they are used to elementary schools where they are programmed centrally. They offer the same proportional access to programs and teachers no matter where they live in the district. But district policy allows middle schools to use site-based management to make decisions. Each principal decides how much or how little of each subject is offered. Most of our BSD schools are offering electives 12 to 25% of the day. A few offer electives 30 to 40% of the day. None of our schools have yet figured out a way to ensure students receiving special supports can still access daily PE and daily year-round elective. We have a proposal for that, which we'll talk about later in this presentation. At many schools, students are assigned 70, 80, 90-minute daily class periods of math, science, and humanities, the tested subjects represented in the blue color, and only half of that for PE and electives, represented in the green color. At other schools, the tested subjects are 50 to 60 minutes a day, allowing more slots in the schedule for students to choose an elective or two. Schools with 50 to 75% of their time devoted to required subjects have narrowed the curriculum and wedged out the elective. After 3 years of this, students enter high school with significantly less background in their chosen elective subject. By the time middle schoolers rise to high school, they find out their education differed compared to their neighbor down the street. It's often too late. They're left behind. Imagine the cumulative effect for those in technical subjects like foreign language, computers, or the arts. The lack of background can make it difficult to keep pace with students from other schools. It can be really disheartening for the student who finds themselves in that situation. But there's hope. The Beaverton School District is redrawing middle school boundaries this year, and it's a chance to right the ship. We can give kids equitable opportunities to achieve a well-rounded education that gives due time and tested subjects while also including PE and a daily elective for everyone. The programs can be staffed centrally, just like the elementary schools, to guard them from being sacrificed during site-based decisions. At the BSD Boundary Committee, will work to make a recommendation to the school board. The superintendent has set a goal of auditing middle school programming. This is an important time for parents and community members to chime in and be heard, because the decisions that are made this year will potentially last a long, long time. Here are the middle school policy changes we can request. Make courses and schedules consistent. Allow every student PE plus 2 electives, at least one of which is a rigorous daily elective, and move away from site-based management and towards centralized management. Every campaign needs a good slogan, right? And advocates need to be familiar with the arguments and the counter-arguments for their proposals. Here are some for you. We're asking for PE plus 2 electives every day because BSD middle school students deserve a well-rounded education. Remember when we mentioned those long daily math, science, and humanities classes that sit for most middle schools? That schedule is rooted in a concept of block scheduling sometimes used at the high school. The idea that students have time for group projects and labs when classes are scheduled for longer periods of time. One thing that's really important to understand is that block scheduling usually has a long class every other day to alternate with a variety of courses. Beaverton is scheduling them daily, which essentially doubles the seat time for mandatory subjects. This is a trend across the nation called double block scheduling, increasing instruction minutes to raise test scores. Usually double block scheduling is only used for students identified as needing help in a specific subject area. But in Beaverton, administrators have decided to apply it universally to all students, and even triple up for some SPED students. We should ask why, and we should ask if it's really getting results. Are the test scores up significantly at those schools with double block scheduling? Is it worth the sacrifice to a well-rounded experience? Now that you know a little bit about the double block scheduling, let's compare it to our proposal, PE plus 2 electives every day. In addition to daily math, science, and humanities, a PE plus 2 schedule guarantees middle schoolers daily PE and 2 electives, at least one of which is a daily year-round course chosen by the student. A true PE plus 2 everyday schedule does not require a student to choose between taking an elective or PE or receiving their special support because it includes enough slots in the day for everything. Many school districts in our region use this type of schedule, including Salem, Sherwood, Newburgh, Lake Oswego, Oregon City, and Battleground. When talking with others about the merits of PE plus 2 scheduling, you might hear of concerns about how much it will cost. Well, there's some good news. Running a PE plus 2 schedule is cost effective. Notice the teacher schedules on this slide. The top is a double block schedule. For example, a math teacher works with 3 90-minute classes a day with about 30 students in each class. Then they plan for 90 minutes and perhaps might teach an elective for 45 minutes every other day. They cover 105 students in all. An elective teacher is in front of students for 5 55-minute periods a day, potentially covering 200 plus students. Because the math teacher covers only 3 classes a day, each class they teach costs the district 0.33 FTE. The PE plus 2 schedule below evens out the load and balances the plan time. Each required class goes down to 0.2 FTE, and the freed up funds can be used to hire additional specialists to teach a few additional sections of elective courses. Here's a look at the schedules from the student perspective. In double block scheduling at the top of the slide, students sit for 80 to 90 minutes in math, science, and humanities, and then PE, electives, and special supports get crammed into 2 short periods. SPED, ELL, AVID, and intervention supports compete with or alternate with an elective. The PE plus 2 everyday schedule at the bottom of the slide includes 6 equal periods, and students don't have to choose between PE, a daily elective, and their special service. It's built right into the schedule. Remember, the cost to run required classes on a 4-period double block schedule is about 50% higher than a 6-period PE plus 2 schedule. If you're advocating for this change at a Student Success Act meeting, you can express your value for a well-rounded education and point out that While the SSA funds are helpful for the district, we should be able to fund a PE+2 schedule without additional funds because of the efficiencies inherent into the change proposal. We can still use the SSA to lower class size and improve student experiences in other ways, but let's get the basic well-rounded education piece in place first. Here's the merit of the PE+2. It's cost-effective, it's inclusive for students who need special support, it allows for student choice in electives, and maintains at least one year-round daily elective for deep, meaningful experiences. Thank you.